Yeah, I mean, Arsenal are one of the teams that always present news lines for everybody, be it, they flatter to deceive or, players underperforming, not getting players over the line. But let's start with the good news. A signing has been made by Arsenal. Ben White has been signed for 50 million from Brighton. In an area of the pitch that I think Arsenal definitely need to strengthen. I know Arsenal have got quite a lot of centre-backs, but I don't think they've got one particularly brilliant centre-back. I like Gabriel. I saw glimpses of him that he could be a top one. I think Mari's got potential, but they don't have a brilliant centre-back. If we start with that signing, our newsreader, Tom Clayton there, who's a Leeds fan, was just saying that, the year that he was at Leeds, one of their top 2 players that season. How much have you seen of Ben White and how good a signing is that for Arsenal?
Well, I've seen him quite a lot. I think he's a very versatile defender, which ticks the box of can you play him in different positions? Can you play a 3? Most certainly so. I watched him at Leeds and Brighton, and I think they're getting a very accomplished player at a certain age. Look, Arsenal lost 13 games last season in the Premier League.
Disgraceful.
And that's, it's disgraceful. It's a lot of football matches.
Yeah.
Okay, and in some ways it was deemed as a transitional season for Arsenal, which it was. I do feel that there is a path they're trying to follow. They're trying to change a lot of that football club. I've always said the day Arsenal bought the Emirates or paid for a new stadium, the challenges from there on were going to be very difficult because obviously the financial implications of something that Arsene Wenger kept under wraps for a long period of time, that knew he couldn't be as competitive in transfer market, which is obviously had an impact at the football club, and they were prepared to go with that. So was Arsene Wenger. I think Arsene Wenger protected a lot of the people behind the scenes at Arsenal and didn't demand some of the things that you'd need. If you're going to go and buy this fantastic stadium or build a great stadium and then not have a team to sort of be on the same level as a new stadium would be, one of the best in Europe, then you're going to suffer, and they have. And so it's no surprise that they've got to where they have in the last few seasons. But there is a path. I can see what he's trying to do, but that won't count for much if they have a really poor start.
Well, I was going to pick up on that point there because I think it's a massive season for Mikel Arteta. Anyone that knows me and has listened to me on talkSPORT, I've been one of the people that have been throughout the season a big supporter of Mikel Arteta, even when they were 15th. I didn't think he should have been sacked. 13 games losing, I think, is unacceptable. And if he had been sacked, it's hard to defend that he shouldn't have been sacked. I don't care what squad you've got at Arsenal, you can't finish 8th. I wouldn't have sacked him, but if he had been sacked, I wouldn't have, there'd been no tears on my pillow. But I think he has to start the season on fire. I mean, we spoke earlier on about pre-season and how important those results are. I think the first 10 games of the season, if Arsenal haven't started the season well, I think he could be gone. Now, you could say, well, if you're not going to sack him when he's 15th, why would you sack him after 10 games? But I just think that with the fans back in the ground, and we know how hostile the Arsenal fans, how fast they can turn on players and indeed managers, I fear for him. This signing, I think, is a step in the right direction. You spoke then just about a path that you can see being forged of where the club are trying to go. I did last year at the start of the season, less so now. I do have some concerns about, will they address the problems? They need a right back. They need a couple of midfielders. I think the striker issue up front is a potential issue. And as a former forward yourself, I'm keen to hear whether you think we've seen the best of Aubameyang or if you think it was just a difficult season. But I think there are a lot of elements there that Mikel Arteta has to address. And if he's not, use the word again, demanding certain things, I think he could be in big trouble.
Yeah, on Aubameyang, you can never question his goal tally. Probably more so last season than any other season. He's always got goals. And he's a player that I think when Arteta had the job, he still got it today, but when he first got there, I think he knew he didn't want to lose a player that was vital in the numbers game. You know, his numbers were always good.
Yeah.
He didn't play well last year. For whatever reason, he didn't play well. Now, I know he had a few issues off the field, which doesn't help. I think it's a big pre-season for him. I'd also put Lacazette in that category, that, you know, how he plays for them next season, because his form was very in and out, but he's a good goal scorer when he's on. There's the element of the younger side of the team, which has been a big thumbs up, isn't it? Smith Rowe, Saka, Tierney,
Martinelli,
Martinelli. There's a big thumbs up to get them into the team and start producing sort of performances that are of an Arsenal standard. So I think there are good things that have happened, but it was small shoots, if you like, because when you went on the run just after Christmas and you beat West Brom away and you played really well, and I saw you at Brighton, you played well there, and I thought there were signs that this team is moving forward, but there were still sort of performances after that reminding you that there was a long way to go. I hope, from watching what I've seen Arteta has done, that he now can gel this side and put a few more pieces of the jigsaw, because they've had to have ins and outs at this football club. And I think he has made mistakes. I think obviously Willian went down really poorly because he didn't have a great season. What do you do with Xhaka? You probably get a good fee with him. Thomas Partey done okay, gets injured too often. So there are challenges, and I agree with you. Midfield area is something I'd really think needs to be dealt with at Arsenal.
I think there's a couple of decisions as well that are baffling, and as I said, I'm a big fan of Mikel Arteta, but the first one is William Saliba. He's been sent out on loan again.
Yes, yeah.
I don't quite get that. I mean, they would say, the club, I'm sure, where his development is ongoing. Rather than sit him on the bench, he's not quite ready yet for the Premier League. It's the second year now. It's like, how much longer do you loan him out for? And the second is the weird decision is, I think Martinelli. Before he got that serious injury, he was looking like a real talent on Arsenal's hands, and he kind of didn't really play him that much. The constant chopping and changing of formations and personnel, he has to, I think, settle on the team going into the new season. And what I'd like to ask you is, considering the whole all 20 Premier League clubs, what is success this year for Arsenal? If they finished 8th last year, unacceptable for me. I don't care. Under no situation can Arsenal finish 8th. But what is success this year? Is 6th? Is top 4?
Well, if you're spending £50 million on a young lad who's not made the England squad, but made the England squad, but not made really as a starter, and I don't believe that will be the only signing at Arsenal. I think they will probably add a couple more. I'm expecting the club are thinking, how do we get to the top 4? I think the whole idea will be to be a top 4 team. Now, that's a big ask from where they were last year. Like I said, well, if you lose 13 games and you still got the majority of that squad at the football club, the people you bring in, all of them have got to hit the ground running. All of them have got to be exceptionally big improvements on the team. So they're big asks. Recruitment's tough. And to get everyone you bring in to hit the ground running and be good, that's a big challenge for Arteta and the club. But to me, if you're spending £50 million on Ben White, and there's going to be others to come, that's pretty much telling me this club is trying to forge a place in the top 4.
And there are some positive green shoots. I think, Saka, I think he's going to actually rip it up this year. I'm really excited about him. Tierney, I'm a big fan of his. Ben White, I'm excited about seeing him. Like I say, I do like Gabriel. In spurts, he was poor, but I like him. Emile Smith-Rowe, there are some green shoots where I'm like, we have some good players. But I just think, I look around at the rest of the league, United are making big moves. City are going to make big moves. Chelsea are European champions. Liverpool have got Van Dijk back. That's 4 back. That's 4 teams already that you think. I mean, Spurs, we'll see what happens at the small club across North London there. But you've got your Leicesters and you've got your West Hams. And I just think to myself, as good as Arsenal may appear to look in terms of their direction, there's still at least 5 clubs that I think look better. So that makes me think, is top 6 the best they can get? Unless everyone, as you say, is on an 8 out of 10 every game for 38 games. I'm not so sure.
Well, if you look at any club that's been successful, and whether they come up or whether they are regulars in the Premier League and they buy players, for them to do well, it's always how many of them work for you. You can't buy 5 players and only one of them work and expect the season to go well. You can't. If 4 of the 5 play really well for you, you're going to have a good season. If you're going to have a 5 out of 5, you're going to have an exceptional season. Yeah. If all 5 don't work, you're probably going to get relegated. They're the challenges. If you look at Sheffield United, for example, a number of their transfers didn't really work. People they brought in, and they found that season really tough. And I'd probably throw into the mix of Sheffield United the players that played the year before that done brilliant were a disappointment the second season. So all their regulars and trusted players who had done brilliant the year before, to a man, most of them didn't play as well as they did the season before. So you've got to hope that, imagine, for example, I said you, throw this out there for Arsenal fans, if Saka didn't have a good season, if Smith Rowe didn't have a good season, or, the
this
player,
year or last year?
This year, coming into this year. They were really good last year.
Yeah.
Imagine if they have an indifferent season. These sort of things happen at football clubs.
Yeah.